The idea that's in Parshas Noach is the question when Noach sends out the raven and then he sends out the dove. So you think about this for a moment. He sends out the dove and the dove comes back, the whole story, and then eventually it goes away and finds its own path, never to return. So wait a minute. But didn't he bring the pairs on the teva in order that they can be able to I guess we'll say propagate the world, continue propagating the world? So what's an answer that you're going to give me?
He brought 7.
He brought 7 because there were 7 doves, which means one of them kind of got shafted.
Not necessarily.
They could be made with another one of them, right?
How far away did it fly?
Now, why did he bring 7? To bring them as korbanos, sacrifices, not necessarily for mating. Okay, so now that would be the simplest answer we're going to say. The simplest answer we're going to say is that when it comes to the doves, they had plenty to go along, so that one didn't come back. Let's move on. What was he thinking when it came to the raven? When it came to the arov, right? What was he thinking when it came to the raven?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. No, yeah.
There's only 2 and you said.
There's only 2. You're going to send 1. That's it. We're done with ravens. That's it.
The raven reproduced on that.
Quote the raven, nevermore. Now we know we got it from, right? So the question is, so what happened to the raven? So the first thing is, simply in the verse, he came back. I got nothing to worry about. Noach's like, close one. What if that guy left? I don't know what I would do. So that's a simple question. What would happen with the Orave if it went and didn't come back? So Rashi quotes the reason why he came back is because he was concerned about his bat zugo, that he thought that Noach would do funny business with his mate, and that's what the Gemara suggests over there. That he was choshed. This raven didn't want to go too far because he didn't know what was going to happen inside the ark while he was gone. Whatever that actually means, can't even understand it, but whatever that actually means. Okay, huh? It's not. It's Gemara. It's a Gemara that says it.
Having sexual.
Not on the ark. Only one animal.
It's a bird.
Prior, yeah. So prior. So maybe he'd say that since the whole world was corrupt before, and humans and animals are doing all these crazy things, so the raven's like, I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, I don't know what the Gemara means. I'm not going into that question of the Gemara. I'm just going to present you what the Netziv explains over here. The Netziv explains a very unique idea. What the Netziv explains is that this raven and this dove were not part of the pairs. He says, according to the simple pshat, the raven and the dove were actually not part of the pairs that he brought on. So what are you doing with these birds in the first place? So he says that Noach was one of considered echad min hasarim shemin hagam hayagam az legada orvim v'yonim. He was considered a nobleman, and the tradition they had back then is that they would raise their own doves and ravens as pets. And if you look in earlier times, many of them had them with those gloves on or on their shoulders and the like. So they were either like carrier pigeons or some other type of pet that they had, that this is what the function of what these animals were. So they knew him well. The fact is, as the Netziv continues on, is that it's not natural for a raven to be a carrier bird, but it is more natural for a dove to be a carrier bird, which is why the raven came back and he's like, okay, we're done with this one. We're going to move on to the Yonah. We're going to move on to the dove. And that's where the dove is circling, goes back and forth. He's going to go a little bit further. He's less concerned about the conditions around him. He's going to be able to go further. But this is his unique idea. The unique idea is that the whole reason why he had these 2 animals, because they were his pets. The equivalent of his pets, the equivalent of something that the nobleman actually had as part of their, whatever you call it, entourage, whether on their shoulder and the like.
So if you know its nature, why send out the raven in the first place?
That's a good question. So he says the orev was always like a domesticated animal, and it wasn't sent for far distances. So perhaps for short distances it would have been okay, but not for far distances. That's just one idea. So just share with you that one idea, and then just to mention briefly one aspect. You have the names. The names of Noach's sons are very important, and it's important that as you look to the parsha, you go ahead and delve into the names of Noach's sons. These are the ones that are starting the world: Shem, Cham, and Yafet. So there's a beautiful idea. Rav Hirsch explains one of the most unique names to have is Shem. But the name of Shem is Shem. What's your name? Name. Who's on first? Right? It's like, what's going on over here? Like, how am I doing this? The name of Shem's name is Shem. Right? So what does it actually mean? So Shem, it comes from the word Sham, there. It's like davar. When you speak, davar, daber is davar, you're creating an object. So shem is the essence of something. When you say, what is the shem of a person, it means the essence of something, which means that the name shem, or the son shem, represents the essence of what a person is supposed to try to achieve. So what he points out is that shem implies an intellectual, spiritual activity of expressing, of naming concepts or ideas. And that's what we know earlier, that Adam, Vayikra Shemos, Adam gave names to everything. When he gave names to everything, he was defining the essence of what they were, which meant that Shem's role is to define the essence of humanity within the world. Cham represents heatedness from Chama, right? Something that's hot, which means sensuality. And Yefet, which we generally describe as beauty, represents over here something that emotions and imagination, which we call arts and culture, the whole concept of the Greek side. So what he presents as idea is that these three represent mankind, whether it's their struggle or their abilities, they all stem from the element of Noach. I'll take your question in a second. But he says that the idea is Vayithalech Noach es Elokim, that Noach walked with Hashem, he was a tzaddik and a tzaddik tamim. These three aspects represent the three names. Let's take your...
Yeah, I thought that the name stands for like Shem is for us, like Semites.
Right.
For the Africans and Yefet for the Europeans.
It could be. It definitely could be in that realm. It's not always defined that is a surety of those things. But let's assume that's what it's referring to. But before they even got anywhere, they were Shem, Cham, and Yafet, which means they represent. Says of Hirsch, every name has a representation. You cannot avoid their representation. Therefore, he says that the yesod is that Shem is a thinker, Cham is the sensualist, and Yefet is the aesthetic, the one who's always looking for beauty and the like. So each one has a particular role, but again, it's all supposed to come under one roof of that of Noach, and that each one of us are going to have these characteristics / struggles that the world is going to be focused on, whether it's going to be beauty, whether it's going to be sensuality, or intellectual awareness, or spirituality and the like. These are what the three are actually all about. So they're all going to develop over time, and they have the opportunity to go positively or negatively, but these three are what the essence of what the world is about. But I urge you to look at Rav Hirsch a little bit more in depth in understanding what these names are. Rabbi Nachi Klein